Hi friends, welcome to another episode on the Andaman Islands. If you liked the last episode, please like and share now. So, how should I decide how many nights should I plan in each place? I've spoken about this, so I won't go too much into this. As I said, just understand what type of customer your guest is. What does he want to do? Ask him this. Are you coming here for beaches? If the answer is yes, give more of Havelock. If he's someone who's traveling with his parents, with different type of family and friends, and he has to cater to everyone, and he wants to cover sightseeing, then I think you can either do a 2-2-1. That means 2 nights Port Blair, 2 nights Havelock, 1 night Deal. You can do a 3-night Port Blair, 2-night Havelock, or you could do a 3-2-1, which basically helps you cover everything. So it's very important you ask the right questions to your customers. So please find out what type of holiday they want, make them close their eyes, ask them what they're expecting from this holiday so that you and I can together meet his every requirement. I've spoken, I'm going to also let you know what are the most important sites to visit. While I've spoken in an entire itinerary, I'll also share with you the links as I'm speaking about it. So certainly Cellular Jail and Light and Sound Show is a must. There is also now a private museum in Port Blair called Kalapani Museum. It's extremely good. It's very well informative. It involves covers the Japanese rule, the tribals, the British rule, great photographs, black and white. So anyone who has interest in history should visit the Kalapani Museum. But again, we do not give this by default. Only if you ask us will we give this. The reason being because we are catering to, as a B2B operator, we're catering to the mass today, and unfortunately price does make a difference. So unless you tell us the profile of the customer, we don't include Kalapani Museum by default. Then I've already mentioned to you about North Bay and Ross. Let me also tell you, you can't do North Bay alone, but you can do Ross Island alone as a 2-hour activity. Then you have in Port Blair your local sightseeing points, your museums, your Neville Marine Museum, which is run by the Indian Navy. Quite informative about the flora and fauna. Again, maximum a half an hour visit. You have the Chatham Sawmill, which was once the largest sawmill in Asia. Inside that is the Forest Museum. To be very fair, it's maximum 20-25 minutes visit. You have the Anthropological Museum, which I think is fantastic, but because there are no guides there, it becomes a walk-in, walk-out. I don't know how many of you know that there are the last primitive tribes left in the world are in Andaman Islands. I'm not going to go into that because that's a different chapter altogether, and I'm really passionate about that, so I'll end up taking 1 hour just on that. But you have the Jarawa, the Ongees, the Sentinelese, the Champagne, you have all these different type of tribes which are unique and indigenous people of these islands. They're actually Africans. If you look at a photo of them, they're directly linked to the migration out of Africa. I'll give you a small teaser. They did a DNA test on one of the tribes and they found that the DNA has been unbroken for last 60,000 years. Yes, I repeat, 60,000 years. I'm not going to go more into that. I'm getting excited, so I'm going to cut myself off here. But the Anthropological Museum is interesting. If you like to know more about the tribals, you'll have to ask your customer and then we can give that to them. You have Chiratapu, which is also called the Sunset Point. If a customer has time, especially when he comes back from Havelock or Deal, and if he's coming by the morning ferry, you can suggest Chiratapu, but it's okay if they don't do it. But yes, if they enjoy trekking, then there's a lovely trek from Chiratapu that takes to Mundapar. It's a half-an-hour trek. Beautiful vantage point. It's a rock protruding out. You see Rutland on one side. Very, very beautiful, especially in terms of capturing a memory. So that can be done when you are opting a trip to Chiratapu. So these are some of the sites in Port Blair. Then let's come to Havelock. Havelock is fairly simple. You have Radhanagar Beach, must visit. You have Elephant Beach, must visit. Kala Patthar Beach, which is an optional visit. At Neil Island, you have a 3 beach visit. You have Lakshmanpur Beach, Bharatpur Beach and Howrah Bridge, and Sitapur being an optional visit. So these are some of the places that are there in Port Blair, Havelock and Neil. Now remember, I'm going to go into details of Baratang and Diglipur later. So keep watching this video to know more about these amazing islands. So what all islands can I visit? This is very interesting. Sometimes we get from our partners, my customer wants to travel to Andaman and there's 20 points below, and he says he has a budget and he says he has 5 nights to stay. So there are common places that customers go on Google and search and come back to you. So I'm going to share with you a bit about these commonly asked places. One is Barren Island. So let me tell you one thing, Barren Island is the only volcanic island in India. It's a 5-hour boat ride from Havelock. There are no ferries that operate to Barren Island. You only can take a charter which will cost you 1 lakh. Remember, these are open seas. Unless you are really someone who wants to go to Barren Island, you could experience heavy seasickness and you can't get on the island. So remember, you go 3-4 hours by a speedboat, you just make a round around this island. It's not active always, so it's not like lava spewing from this island. You make a trip and then you come back. So it's expensive at 1 lakh plus, and seat boat has to be chartered. So you can't say, okay, I want a seat, you have to charter the whole boat. Not recommended any other period except Feb, March, April, when the sea conditions are flat. Yes, if your customer is a diver and he's a certified advanced open water, then Barren Island makes it worth a visit, but it is expensive. So make sure that your client has the budget also to include a trip to Barren Island. Then you have Narcondam Island, which is non-accessible. That's way up north, around 12 hours by boat, no accessibility. Then a lot of people say, I want to go to Nicobar. So let me tell you this, Nicobar is out of bounds for tourism. Even I cannot just take a ferry and go to Nicobar. And also it is 12 hours from Port Blair, right? Little Andaman is another place that keeps coming. Again, the problem with Little Andaman is beautiful. We've got waterfall, got great beaches, but connectivity. So the ferry doesn't sail every day. There's no guarantee of getting a ferry ticket. Also, accommodation is not there. So you have this basic 800, 900, 1000 rupees accommodations. Not recommended for your normal traveler. If he's a backpacker, of course, great, but then you need a lot of time because it could be the ferry gets cancelled. You don't get a ticket tomorrow. You have to wait for another 2 days. So Little Andaman, as of now, we don't suggest. You also then have customers who want to visit Jarava Land, visit the tribals. So let me make it upfront. There you cannot make any contact with any tribal. It is a criminal offense. You can be put behind bars. The Andaman Islands fiercely protect the rights of these tribals. So do not even try to suggest or encourage your customers to explore this option. Not recommended at all. You have a trip to Baratang where they may or may not get to see the Jaravas, but again, we don't promote Baratang for these tribals. We promote it for its mangrove trip and for the limestone caves. So that's a bit about the places that we get commonly asked for, which are cannot be visited by the tourists. I don't blame them. They're going to go on Google, and Google is a tool that can help and is a tool that can confuse. Now, let me talk about Baratang and Diglipur. Now, first thing when you look at Baratang, I'll first begin by speaking about Baratang. So remember I told you when you're in 3 nights, that means day 1, day 2 and the last night in Port Blair. Day 2 you could do North Bay Ross or you could do MG National Park. Another optional thing is Baratang. Now, what is Baratang? So, Baratang basically is around 150 kilometers from the city of Port Blair. So, it is a trip that happens from Port Blair, does not happen from Havelock and Neil. You have to get up early morning. You have to wake up by 3. The trip departs by 4 o'clock. So the car will take you at 4 o'clock. It is a day trip. There is no overnight trip permitted. Now, why do you have to get up in the morning? Because this trip cuts through the tribal reserve. So you can't just, like a normal highway, take your car and go. You have to go to a point called Jirkatang, which you reach within 1 hour of leaving Port Blair city, where there is a gate where you have to register, where all names have to be shared, your ID has to be given, and there are specific timings. The traffic through the tribal reserve moves in convoys. What does a convoy mean? In the first vehicle and the last vehicle, you will have a police person, and then at 6 o'clock the gate opens, and then you begin this ride through the Jarava reserve. It takes you 2.5 hours. As I said, you may or may not get to see tribals while you're crossing the reserve, and we don't even encourage you to visit it just for a fraction of a second of the tribal visit. Also, before the gate opens, there are small Tamilian shops, so you could have tea, coffee, you could have hot idli. Do remember that most of the hotels serve a very average packed breakfast. There'll be some sandwich, some banana, chips. So for your customer, they do have an option of having a hot idli, sambar, chutney. I love it. You can also have puri aloo when you're there, hot and nice. And then you kind of begin your 1.5 hour trip through the forest reserve. Beautiful forest. It's really what Andamans is. When you think of Andaman, you're thinking of these pristine, untouched, evergreen forests. And this trip to Baratang gives you an exposure to that. Then you go to the other side. Now, there is from Port Blair to Middle Andaman, where Baratang is not one single line. So there is a creek in between. So there is a vehicle ferry that keeps taking trips. So the car is parked on the side of Baratang. Then the customer has to get down. The driver will take him to the vehicle ferry. Our person will buy the vehicle ferry ticket. Then they are taken a 10-minute ride on the other side. Now, during season, there could be some amount of waiting. Remember, it does get very, very hot in Andaman. So they're there at around 9:30, 10. The sun is noon already on your head. You go to the other side. Then you have to register for your boat association for the permit, which is the forest permit, which again our person will help you out. And then sharing boats are allotted. You have to sit with your life jacket, and then you begin a lovely creek ride going into the mangrove. Beautiful. These guys really maneuver the boat really well. Very exciting. The forest department has done a fantastic job of maintaining this pristine part. You have to get down. You have to then take a 1 kilometer walk. It's relatively flat. So you walk through this rural landscape and you enter the limestone cave. The limestone cave itself are not the most magnificent that you would have seen, but it's a nice walk nevertheless. The guide, who's the boat person, will highlight the different formations into the cave, after which you come back. En route, you could buy some Nibu Pani, you could have some fruit salad which are sold by the locals out there. Then you come to the same boat and you begin your ride back to the jetty. Now, Baratang also has something called a mud volcano. Now, a lot of people may not like me for saying this, but I don't recommend the mud volcano, and I'll tell you why. If I tell you you're coming from Bombay, Delhi, somewhere, and I'm going to take you to a mud volcano, what is the image that comes in your head? I think a holiday is like food. At the end of the day, let's be honest. If I tell you I'm giving you a butter chicken or a paneer masala, buttered paneer masala, you've already drawn an image in your head. So what I serve you must match the image in my head. Now, mud volcano, when you think of mud volcano, people think, wow, there must be this, soft mud and bubbles coming out and this huge area which is covered by mud volcano. So it's not exactly that. Once you come back, then you have to take a jeep again on sharing basis, where they take you. It's a 15-20 minute ride, after which you have to climb. Remember, it gets hot, so again, senior citizens, we don't recommend. You have to walk the steps, and you go up and you reach and you're like, where's the mud volcano? So it's really not that active, it's really not that exciting. So by default, because I believe in giving a true holiday, I don't want to just fill up the itinerary. We don't give. In case your customer wants, please feel free to ask us so that we can include it. It's a nominal cost of 300-400 rupees per person, but we don't recommend it. So what does the guest do? So he's finished his limestone cave, he's come back, he's had an enthralling mangrove ride, he's standing at the jetty, then it's lunchtime. So there is a lovely restaurant, and no one has paid me to say this, but I'm a big foodie. It's run by this gentleman called Arif. He's got a veg section, he's got a non-veg section. There are lady servers out there, they're all in uniform, hygiene is top notch, and what food? It is ghar ka khana. There's dal, there's two sabzi, you can unlimited rice, the fish curry, the chicken curry, amazing. So I recommend anyone who comes to Baratang must have a meal at Arif, after which they have to take the 3 o'clock convoy back into Port Blair, reaching by 5:30. It's a long tiring day, and then they crash. So Baratang is recommended only if you have minimum 3 nights in Port Blair. And please tell all your customers, do not do this just to see tribals. You will get to, if at all, see them for a fraction of a second, and you would have spent a full day from 4 o'clock in the morning till 5:30 in the evening making this trip. There's a lot more to Baratang: the limestone cave, the mangrove trip, the vehicle ferry across, the Arif restaurant. It's great if you want to explore a part of Andaman, but remember, it's hot, a lot of waiting is involved, so things won't happen the way you want. There's a waiting at the convoy, there's a waiting for the vehicle ferry, there's a waiting for the Baratang, for the boat to limestone cave, there's a waiting for the vehicle to take you to Arif restaurant. So keep that in mind, but it's worth it if you have 3 nights in Port Blair. Or 4 nights in Port Blair, you could squeeze in Baratang on the 3rd day, or instead of North Biros, do Baratang. So that's a bit about Baratang. I hope I've been able to answer your queries on what Baratang has to offer. Let me come on Diglipur. I think if you have time and if you are adventurous, Diglipur is a must visit. Now, why do I say time? Because it takes 12 hours by road just to go from Port Blair to Diglipur. You can't go from Havelock, you can't go from Neil. So I hope that answers any question coming, can I go from Havelock and Neil? You have to be in Port Blair. Again, like Baratang, it crosses Middle Andaman. So you cross Baratang, right? Which means you have to follow the convoy system. And it is a long journey. So if you leave at 4 o'clock in the morning, you will reach approximately 3:34. But I'll tell you what Diglipur has to offer, I don't think any other part of Andaman has to offer. It gives you access to this island called Ross and Smith. Now, Ross and Smith are 2 islands joined together by a sandbar. During high tide, they are 2 separate islands. During low tide, you can walk across. I think it's the perfect image of one of the most beautiful islands that there are in the Andaman Islands. But it's a long trip, not recommended for all. You need to have time, minimum 8 nights, because no one is going to come to Andaman and not going to Havelock. So Havelock is certainly a must inclusion. So you need to keep 2 nights for Diglipur. The first day is only spent traveling. Next day you go to Ross and Smith. Again, from the hotel, the car is with you for 2 days. So the car will take you to the ferry point. Again, there's a sharing boat, takes you to Ross and Smith. You can spend 3-4 hours. It's not very commercial, so not many tourists on this place. Very good setup again by the administration and the forest department. You have changing room, you have sitting area, very well neat, organized. and then you come back. I think Ross and Smith is the highlight of these islands as of now because it's accessible. So people really love it, but you need minimum 2 nights. Again, because also understand the road to Diglipur is not great. The government is working on it. They're making some highways, some top-notch highways, but I think that's going to take some more time. So as of now, it's a back-breaking journey. Again, we ask all our customers to travel light because it's only 2 nights. You also have only limited accommodation. There's a hotel called Pristine run by this gentleman Alex. Very simple, not luxury, but very warm and inviting. Very good food. So again, Diglipur is for the adventurers, not your luxury travelers, but the experience is uber luxury. So that's what Diglipur has to offer. Now, if your customer happens to be a trekker, right? And if he's really fit and agile and wants to do a trek, then let me tell you, there is Saddle Peak, which is the highest point in Andamans, situated in Saddle Peak. But believe me, as beautiful it is the most difficult trek I have done. It is nearly 5 hours one way through forest, involving through the beach. There are some streamlets in between, and then you climb on top and you get to see these panoramic views, and then 5 hours walking down. So it's not everyone's cup of tea, but if your customer does want to trek, then I strongly recommend Saddle Peak, but he must be fit, and then you need to increase Diglipur from 2 nights to 3 nights. So I hope this gives you a little bit of insight into what Diglipur has to offer, and I hope this will help you build a better itinerary and holiday for your customer. I hope you found the session interesting, and do subscribe to the channel to get more updates. Stay safe.